Hello everybody and welcome to RPG Horror Stories, where I am your host Suyu, and by Saloon's mother, you better be leaving your horror stories in the comments down there. Speaking of that, we actually have a horror story from the comments down there, and we're gonna go ahead and use that as a segue to go right into the horror stories. I ran an evil campaign for 2 players. They were sibling characters who were both Dompiers. They had a master who needed them to recover a few relics from ancient tombs all over the continent, but they liked troubling everyone everywhere. The only people they wouldn't harm were children. They said watching their parents die would make them stronger and perhaps seek vengeance. They had this idea where they believed in the god of revenge. Increasing the number of vengeful souls in the world would increase that god's power and influence. That said, they killed people in the most gruesome ways, such as impaling people on pikes within their own town churches as a way to deprecate the other gods. With the blood of their victims, they wrote texts on walls promoting vengeful mindsets among those who witnessed their works of art, as their characters would put it. I think this evil campaign was fun to run because they weren't being evil without a purpose. They eventually died in combat because they angered a child who became the hero of the continent. The characters' goals were accomplished. More temples dedicated to the god of revenge were built everywhere. See, this is how you do an evil campaign. This is how you do it. You do it with purpose. There's a difference between wanton evil and true evil. True evil has a reason. Wanton evil does not. This is lawful evil being played to its absolute best, in my personal opinion. I have never heard of somebody playing lawful evil so good that an NPC actually ends up coming up and killing them, making them succeed in their own goals. That's fucking amazing. And good on you, Dashua. Thank you for the story. When abuse out of character gives the dungeon master a hard choice to make. Oh, this sounds delightful. Now, I will say, dungeon masters have hard choices to make all the freaking time, so if this is hard in respect to that, that's not usually a good sign. Disclaimer and trigger warning. I'll be discussing alcoholism, emotional abuse, and other domestic indiscretions. If this is not for you, please don't feel the need to read. I will put a too long did not read at the bottom. I am a newer DM. One thing I struggle with the most is the fact that getting good players to fill a party is difficult. And what DM doesn't struggle with this? The rub is that I live in a very small part of town in a very rural and conservative area of Texas. Okay, gotcha, so not Austin. So when I was finally able to fill my party enough to play a not boring game, I was stoked. My rogue is new in learning. Her not ex-boyfriend, my paladin barbarian, is also a green player and is a problem. Their relationship is moderately relevant, so for context, I'll explain. Rogue is a single mother with a young child. In the last few years, her other child passed away from unknown causes less than 6 months after birth. They were alive and seemed to be happy and healthy children. Their passing left a mark on her even a couple years later. The paladin barbarian is an old family friend that moved across the country to be with her. He has a history of alcoholism and not the best judgment calls. They unfortunately cannot agree on being in a relationship, so he's self-placed in the friend zone. He has made many negative comments to his grieving mother. He has made many negative comments to this grieving mother about her personal memorials to her son within her home that she opened to him, as well as telling her, among other things, that she is raising her surviving child incorrectly. He even had the balls to tell her child to call him daddy, even though he isn't her father. And he doesn't even have intentions of adopting her or being a co-parent with our rogue. Now, that's the background and why I am posting. I had to make the hard decision recently to stop the sessions until we find a replacement for the Palabarian. I love Dungeons & Dragons, and it broke my heart to see outside factories be the cause for stopping play. You see, even though they are new players, they are both eager and willing to learn. My husband, the rogue barbarian, has been playing for years and has never had this issue come up himself. I thought it would be nice to give the Forever DM the chance to play again. Normally, I would never let outside forces have an impact on in-game storytelling, but as a dungeon master, I'm not sure I can have this knowledge and still be a good DM to all of my players. It's not fair to them, nor to myself. Do you guys think I made the right call, or am I being selfish for not wanting to play? Let me put it straight to you. This random ass dude is hooking up with this single mother who's grieving her child and is telling her to just fucking get over it, bozo. You're raising your children wrong. Hey, kid, call me daddy. And then refusing to put any effort in whatsoever, doesn't even have the intention of adopting this child. Why is this dude in her life? No, you made the right choice. Abso-freaking-lutely. She might not even realize it, but this is probably an abusive situation. This dude obviously wants into this relationship for the feeling of control over people he sees as lesser than him. This dude needs to not be at the table. And you made absolutely the right call. Not only for that lady's well-being, but for your own sake. If you cannot be impartial as a DM, something needs to change in the party. If knowing something about your party members makes it hard for you to be impartial, it's kind of like being a lawyer. If you have a conflict of interest, you can't do it. So absolutely, you made the right choice 100% all the way. And every DM is gonna run into something similar to this. Not necessarily of this caliber, just because holy fuck, this is intense. But you did very well, especially as a first-time dungeon master. Extremely, like, freakishly well. Your Forever DM has been an amazing example to you, and I applaud both of you. Now, I hope that this poor young lady is able to come over the death of that young child. Having a 6-month-old die is something that is very, very much hard to go through, and having a baby die is something that is guaranteed to throw a mother into depression for multiple years. Sometimes I've read some cases of that heading up into like decade territories. It's heartbreaking, and it's something that doesn't just break the heart, it breaks the mind. And the worst part is trying to rationalize it. My heart does go out for her. Please show yourselves some compassion, and if you can, try and help her get out of this relationship that this dude's trying to get into. Just do what you can to get him away from her. That's probably the best thing you can do right now. Because she probably won't even realize what's going on. But just do your best to keep him out of that life. And my God, just try and see if you can find a way to get her to close her house to him. This is bad. Like, I've seen people who are like this. I was I was the kid in this situation. When I disagreed with the guy, he picked me up by my neck, threw me, and almost broke my back against the fucking truck bed. He doesn't care about the kid. I can tell you that right now. And the second that kid ends up saying anything against him, the kid's gonna get hurt. So try your best to do something for that purpose.